He beat cancer. He survived one of the hardest battles of his life. But when he was finally ready to come back, his place was already taken. For months, Hudson and Rex fans kept asking the same question. Why wasn't Charlie Hudson back? Did the show replace him for good? Had one of television's most beloved detective partnerships quietly come to an end? Then everything changed. An announcement nobody expected has completely turned the story around. Hudson and Rex Season 9 is officially happening. John Reardon is returning. Charlie Hudson is coming back. But this isn't a simple reunion, because the man who replaced him isn't leaving. For the first time in the show's history, Rex may be caught between two partners, two detectives, and two completely different futures. And if you think this is just another cast update, think again. Because the real story behind John Reardon's return is even more emotional than most fans realize. For a long time, Hudson and Rex fans were living with more questions than answers. Every new update seemed to create even more confusion, and every week without official news made people wonder if one of the show's biggest chapters had already come to an end. Charlie Hudson wasn't just another television detective. He was the heart of the series. From the very first episode, fans watched him build an unforgettable partnership with Rex, solving impossible cases while creating the kind of friendship that became the reason millions of viewers kept coming back season after season. That bond wasn't something you could simply replace. It became the identity of Hudson and Rex itself. So when Charlie suddenly disappeared, it didn't feel like an ordinary cast change. It felt like something much bigger had happened behind the scenes. Social media quickly filled with questions. Was John Reardon leaving permanently? Had the producers decided to move in a different direction? Was Charlie Hudson's story officially over? Nobody seemed to have a clear answer, and that silence only made fans more frustrated. Every interview was examined for hidden clues. Every production update became another opportunity for fans to search for answers. Some believed the actor wanted to move on. Others thought contract negotiations had failed. A few even feared the show was preparing for an entirely new future without the character who had carried the series since day one. But the truth was far more personal than anyone expected. Everything changed during the production of Season 7, when John Reardon received life-changing news. Right in the middle of filming, he was diagnosed with tonsil cancer. Suddenly, television scripts, filming schedules, and production deadlines no longer mattered. His focus shifted to something infinitely more important: his health. It was a battle that nobody chooses, and one that completely changed the direction of both his life and the future of Hudson and Rex. Fans around the world were shocked when they learned what had happened. The concern wasn't just about the show anymore. It became about the man behind Charlie Hudson. People who had spent years watching him every week now found themselves hoping for something much more important than another season. They simply wanted him to recover. Fortunately, after undergoing treatment, John Reardon later shared the news everyone had been praying for. His treatment had been successful, and he had received a clean bill of health. It should have been the perfect ending to an incredibly difficult chapter. Most fans assumed the next step was obvious. Charlie Hudson would return, filming would continue, and Hudson and Rex would move forward exactly as before. But that's not what happened. Instead, the series took an unexpected turn that nobody saw coming. When Season 8 arrived, viewers discovered that Rex had a completely new human partner. Detective Mark Hudson stepped into the spotlight, played by Luke Roberts, creating an entirely different dynamic for the series. For new viewers, it was simply a fresh face joining the cast. But longtime fans experienced something very different. Many couldn't understand why the original lead wasn't back after recovering. Questions spread across fan communities almost overnight. Had the producers decided to replace Charlie permanently? Was John Reardon no longer interested in returning? Or had something happened behind the scenes that nobody was talking about? Without official explanations, speculation quickly filled the gap. Every episode became part of a larger mystery that existed outside the show itself. Instead of discussing weekly cases, fans were debating Charlie Hudson's future. Petitions appeared online. Comment sections exploded with emotional reactions. Some viewers admitted they couldn't imagine Hudson and Rex without Charlie, while others chose to support the new direction but still hoped the original partnership would somehow return. It became one of the biggest conversations the series had ever faced. Then, after months of uncertainty, everything finally changed. On May 28, 2026, the silence came to an end. Hudson and Rex was officially renewed for Season 9, scheduled to premiere with 12 brand new episodes. For many viewers, that announcement alone was enough to celebrate. After all the uncertainty surrounding the show's future, another season confirmed that Hudson and Rex was far from finished. But hidden inside that announcement was something even bigger. Something that instantly transformed excitement into absolute disbelief. John Reardon was officially returning as Detective Charlie Hudson. The announcement spread across social media within minutes, and fan reactions poured in from everywhere. After everything he had endured, after months of wondering whether Charlie's story had quietly ended, viewers finally received the confirmation they had been waiting for. Charlie Hudson was coming home. Yet even as fans celebrated, one enormous question remained unanswered. If Charlie was returning, what would happen to Mark Hudson? Because unlike what many people expected, Season 9 wasn't preparing to erase the changes made in Season 8. Instead, it appeared ready to do something far more surprising. And that decision could completely reshape the future of Hudson and Rex in ways nobody is expecting. Charlie Hudson's return may have been the headline that grabbed everyone's attention. But the deeper story begins when you look at what Season 9 is actually setting up. Most fans expected one simple outcome. Charlie would come back, Mark Hudson would quietly leave, and everything would return to normal as if Season 8 had never happened. That would have been the easiest solution. It would have satisfied longtime viewers and restored the original partnership everyone had been waiting for. But according to the official information released so far, that isn't what's happening. Luke Roberts is expected to remain part of the cast, which means Detective Mark Hudson isn't disappearing after all. Suddenly, what looked like a straightforward comeback has become one of the biggest mysteries the series has ever faced. Because if Charlie Hudson is returning to his old job while Mark Hudson is staying, where exactly do both detectives fit? Who becomes Rex's official partner? Do they work together? Do they compete for the same position? Or is the show preparing an entirely new direction that nobody has even considered yet? Those questions have turned Season 9 into far more than just another season. It has become the beginning of an entirely new chapter for the franchise. Think about Rex for a moment. For years, viewers have watched this incredible German Shepherd build one of television's strongest partnerships with Charlie Hudson. Their relationship wasn't based on dialogue alone. It was built through trust, instinct, and countless dangerous investigations where each one relied on the other without hesitation. Rex wasn't simply following orders. He understood Charlie in a way that made their partnership feel completely natural. Fans didn't just enjoy watching a detective solve crimes with a police dog. They believed in the friendship between them. That emotional connection became the heart of every episode. But then Charlie disappeared, and Rex had to adjust to someone new. Season 8 showed Rex working alongside Mark Hudson, learning to trust another detective while continuing to solve difficult cases. Relationships like that don't happen overnight. Trust takes time, especially when you're talking about a working police dog whose entire job depends on confidence in his handler. That means by the end of Season 8, Rex and Mark had already built their own partnership. Now Charlie is returning to reclaim the place where everything started. That creates an emotional situation unlike anything the series has explored before. For Rex, this isn't simply about changing partners. It's about reconnecting with someone he never truly forgot, while also remaining loyal to the person who stood beside him during Charlie's absence. That emotional conflict is exactly why so many fans believe Season 9 has the potential to become the most personal season in the show's history. Hudson and Rex has always balanced crime investigations with emotional storytelling, but this situation feels different because it isn't driven by fictional drama alone. Viewers know the real story behind Charlie's disappearance. They know John Reardon stepped away because of a genuine health battle, not because of creative differences or contract disputes. That real-life journey adds an entirely different layer to Charlie's return. Every scene between Charlie and Rex is likely to carry emotional weight because audiences understand what it took for John Reardon to stand in front of the camera again. It's difficult to separate the actor from the character after everything that happened. In many ways, Charlie Hudson's comeback mirrors John Reardon's own comeback. Both disappeared unexpectedly. Both fought through unimaginable challenges. And now both are finding their way back to where they belong. That kind of connection between real life and storytelling doesn't happen very often. And when it does, audiences tend to respond in a powerful way. Of course, bringing Charlie back doesn't automatically solve every problem. In fact, it creates brand new ones. Imagine being Mark Hudson. He stepped into an impossible situation. No actor wants to replace a beloved lead, especially under circumstances like these. Luke Roberts entered a role knowing comparisons would be unavoidable. Every episode, every performance, every decision would be measured against years of history that fans already loved. That's an incredibly difficult position for any actor. Yet despite the pressure, Mark became part of Rex's journey. Whether fans accepted him immediately or not, he still earned his place within the story. Now Charlie is returning, but Mark isn't leaving. That means the writers have a responsibility to make both characters feel important. If Mark is pushed aside too quickly, Season 8 risks feeling meaningless. But if Charlie returns only to play a smaller role, longtime fans may feel disappointed after waiting so long for his comeback. Finding the right balance between those two characters could easily become the biggest creative challenge the writers have ever faced. Another question fans continue asking is how Charlie himself will have changed. People don't go through life-changing experiences and come back exactly the same. While the series may not directly recreate John Reardon's personal health journey inside Charlie's storyline, experiences like absence, recovery, and returning after everything has changed naturally affect a character. Charlie may find that his workplace isn't the same anymore. His routines have changed. His relationships have evolved. New partnerships exist. New responsibilities have appeared. Even if everyone is genuinely happy to see him back, returning after a long absence is rarely simple. Sometimes the hardest part isn't leaving. It's coming back and realizing life continued while you were gone. That emotional reality could become one of the strongest themes of Season 9 if the writers choose to explore it. Then there's the question of the police department itself. Bringing two experienced detectives together opens the door to storylines the series has never attempted before. Instead of focusing on a single detective handling every major investigation, the show could expand its scope by allowing Charlie and Mark to approach cases from completely different perspectives. Charlie represents experience, history, and the partnership fans already know. Mark represents change, adaptation, and the future introduced during Season 8. Watching those different approaches collide could create fascinating character moments. Will they respect each other immediately? Will there be tension? Friendly competition? Disagreements over how investigations should be handled? Or will they eventually discover that working together makes both detectives stronger than either one alone? Right now, nobody outside the production knows those answers. And that's exactly what makes the upcoming season so exciting. Perhaps the biggest reason anticipation continues to grow is because Season 9 no longer feels predictable. Before the official announcement, many people assumed the future of Hudson and Rex had already been decided. Some believed Charlie would never return. Others believed the series would permanently move forward with a new lead. Instead, the producers surprised everyone by choosing a path almost nobody expected. Rather than erasing the past or ignoring the changes made during Season 8, they're bringing those two worlds together. That's a much riskier decision, but it's also potentially the most rewarding one. If handled correctly, Season 9 won't simply celebrate Charlie Hudson's return. It could redefine the entire series. And as fans continue waiting for the first trailer and the first official footage, one thing has become impossible to ignore. Charlie Hudson is finally coming home. But the Hudson and Rex he returns to may be very different from the one he left behind. And that difference could change everything. As exciting as Charlie Hudson's return is, there is another part of the story that deserves just as much attention. Because Season 9 isn't only about bringing back a familiar face. It's about proving that Hudson and Rex is still capable of surprising its audience after so many years on the air. That's not an easy thing for any long-running television series to accomplish. Most crime dramas eventually settle into a predictable formula. The characters stay the same, the weekly cases follow a familiar pattern, and viewers know almost exactly what to expect every time a new episode begins. But Hudson and Rex has suddenly found itself in a completely different position. Instead of returning with business as usual, the series now has an opportunity to tell one of its most emotional and unpredictable stories yet. Fans already know Charlie is coming back. That part is no longer the mystery. The real mystery is what happens after he walks through that door. Because returning home doesn't always mean returning to the life you left behind. Imagine Charlie arriving back at the police department after everything that has happened. The building may look exactly the same. The offices may still be familiar. Many of the people he worked with could still be there. But something has undeniably changed. Time didn't stop while Charlie was gone. Investigations continued. New partnerships formed. New routines replaced old ones. People adapted because they had no other choice. That's what makes returning after a long absence so emotionally complicated. Everyone may genuinely be happy to see Charlie again, but life has already moved forward. The question isn't whether Charlie belongs there. The question is how everyone adjusts now that he's back. That creates a level of emotional realism the show hasn't explored before. Instead of simply celebrating a reunion, Season 9 has the chance to explore what rebuilding actually looks like. One relationship that fans will be watching more closely than any other is the one between Charlie and Rex. From the outside, it might seem obvious that Rex would immediately run back to his original partner without hesitation. After all, their bond has always been one of the defining elements of the series. But real loyalty is rarely that simple. During Charlie's absence, Rex wasn't sitting alone waiting for him to return. He continued working. He continued protecting people. He continued solving cases alongside Mark Hudson. That means Rex now has meaningful connections with both detectives. Unlike humans, dogs don't think in terms of replacing one person with another. They build relationships based on trust, routine, and shared experiences. Charlie will always be Rex's original partner, but Mark has also earned Rex's trust through months of working together. That creates an emotional situation unlike anything viewers have seen before. Rex doesn't have to choose who he loves more. He simply cares about both of them. The real challenge falls on the humans, not the dog. Charlie and Mark must figure out how to move forward without turning that bond into a competition. That possibility alone has already sparked countless discussions among fans. Some viewers believe Charlie should immediately return as Rex's full-time partner because that's how the show originally began. Others argue that Mark deserves respect because he stepped into an incredibly difficult situation and carried the series during one of its most challenging periods. Neither opinion is completely wrong. Charlie earned his place through years of unforgettable performances. Mark earned his place by helping keep the show alive when circumstances forced unexpected changes. That's why Season 9 feels so different from a normal cast return. There isn't a clear hero and a clear replacement anymore. Instead, there are two detectives connected to Rex in different ways, each representing a different chapter of the series. If the writers handle that balance carefully, audiences may find themselves appreciating both characters for entirely different reasons. Another fascinating question involves Charlie himself. Recovery changes people. Anyone who experiences a major life challenge often returns with a different perspective. They begin valuing time differently. Relationships become more important. Small frustrations don't seem as significant anymore. While Hudson and Rex may choose not to directly mirror John Reardon's real-life experience through Charlie's storyline, it's hard to imagine the character returning exactly as he was before. Fans may notice a calmer, wiser version of Charlie Hudson, someone who appreciates every day a little more than he once did. That subtle character growth could make his return feel even more authentic. Instead of pretending nothing happened, the series has an opportunity to show that people grow through difficult experiences. Sometimes the strongest heroes aren't the ones who never face challenges. They're the ones who come back stronger after surviving them. At the same time, viewers shouldn't expect every problem to disappear overnight. Returning after a long absence often brings unexpected complications. Charlie may need time to rebuild old routines. He may discover that some responsibilities have changed. There may even be moments where he questions whether he still fits into a workplace that successfully adapted without him. Those feelings wouldn't make him weak. They would make him human. And that's one reason audiences have always connected with Charlie Hudson. Despite being an excellent detective, he has never been portrayed as a flawless superhero. He's thoughtful, compassionate, and deeply committed to the people around him. Allowing him to experience uncertainty during his return could actually strengthen the emotional impact of the season rather than weaken it. Then there's the future of Mark Hudson. One of the biggest mistakes the writers could make would be treating him as though he no longer matters simply because Charlie is back. Season 8 invested an entire season introducing this character, developing his relationship with Rex, and establishing his place within the team. Ignoring all of that would risk making those stories feel unimportant. Instead, the smarter approach would be allowing Mark to continue evolving alongside Charlie rather than against